Tell us about the Metro.
Well, we're standing in front of the Metro Theatre on Orwell Street, King's Cross, and it's now, of course, Kennedy Miller production house. But in 1969 or thereabouts, when I was just finishing high school, it was the home of Hair, the American tribal love rock musical happening. And I would have been about 17, I think, when my mother took my brother and I to see Hair the musical. I think it's where I first smelled incense. But it was the interesting phenomenon about Hair was that the theatre critics loved it. It's more than just nostalgia that it's still fondly remembered. I think it's a significant part of King's Cross too. But it was a show that for me as a kid was a real eye-opener.
How old were you?
I would have been probably the end of high school.
Like 17?
Yeah, still had short hair, as we did in good state schools in those days. And unlike everybody in the cast, things were different then. That's 40 years ago now. And ironically, it was a show that promoted drug taking. It was very anti-patriotism. It was all about not getting conscripted to go and fight in Vietnam. They even had imported American actors, coloured ones, because we didn't have a lot of that sort of thing here. And they had the phenomenal Tully as the band. So the place was shaking, rumbling with sound, fog, light shows.
Tully, they were an Australian band?
Tully were a sort of experimental acid rock group, and they augmented Tully for the show with jazz musicians as well as other rock musicians. So it was a big, loud show. And I think for musicals in Australia in those days, it was pretty radical. Not just the nude scene where everybody was naked. In fact, that was probably the least offensive thing.
Yeah.
And I think even 40 years later, when you think about a highly successful musical that's promoting drug taking, that's anti-patriotic, anti-religion,
Anti-war?
Ferociously anti-war, being conscripted, as I was myself a couple of years later, was in that show it's a bit like crucifixion. Well, I think from memory it was all about you take LSD and get your gear off.
Who directed it?
Jim Sharman. Sharman of the famous Sharman Circus family. And it had a few famous Aussie actors at the time. We've got our Marsha Hines, thanks to Hair, Reg Livermore, John Waters.
Okay.
So a few of them lingered.
So tell us about the theatre itself, like over here.
Yeah.
Like, that was the main entrance?
Yeah,
that one
there's
there?
a big foyer there, still beautiful foyer in there, thanks to George Miller. It's still really well preserved. And then you turn left, and so all the way down there is a full...
Was the big auditorium?
Full old auditorium. And the reason that's so high there is because that's behind the stage. So...
Okay.
And the stage in Hair was scaffolding, had the band mounted behind. They had everything you could possibly by way of gimmicks in terms of sliding stages that came out from the side.
So how many did it seat, do you reckon?
I don't know.
Like
Hundreds.
over 1,000?
I wouldn't know.
But big?
Yeah.
Upstairs?
Yeah. I can't remember. I cannot remember. I think downstairs was the place to be. That's where they were giving out the flowers and you could smell the action down below. But
you mean pot smoking in the audience and stuff?
Well, I don't know about the audience. I certainly wasn't pot smoking, but I think the cast may have been. I'm sure the band would have been. It promoted that as an alternative lifestyle to getting called up and sent to Vietnam. I mean, movies these days would be radical, but in those days, musicals, smash hit musicals, well, they're still not like that. I don't think. I can't really see.
You couldn't call Chicago radical.
Or Lion King
or
2.
Nine.
Lion King 2. Let's take acid and smash the state. I don't think so.
Okay.
But they were good times, and I think it did help to bring on a much better time. Although God knows, with the current wars that we keep finding ourselves to go and fight in, you just wonder how much has changed. There it is, the Metro.